going on? Zash here, coming at you today in Raid Shadow Legends. Welcome to the video, guys. I am happy to have you here. Hopefully it finds you all doing well. Today, we're going to look at 10 of the most underrated legendary champions inside the game. Remove these champions from your vault and give them a try. Some of these champions previously kind of sucked. They fell out of the meta, and now they're back in for various reasons. Maybe they got buffed in the past, or maybe they're especially effective against Hydra or a Doom Tower boss that you may not have realized. So, without further ado, tell me, guys, do you look at the reviews, the champion reviews? You pull a legendary, do you look at the reviews? Do you look at them? If so, do you read at all into them? I mean, obviously, they're incredibly subjective. You know, I hate frogs, so I gave Toragi a frog in 1 out of every category, right? Or people more often just kind of overreacting to whatever the popular opinion is in the zeitgeist at the moment in Raid.
Wait a minute!
That's why I don't read the newspaper. Because it's garbage, and the editor that let it come out is garbage.
I guess I say all that to say, hey, just a heads up, don't read too much into reviews, and hopefully we prove that in today's video. So let's start out with champion number 1. It's none other than Gurgoh Mossbeard, and this guy's really important to include on the list because this is a champion who received a buff, sure, but also people in the beginning just did not get this champion. How valuable a very unique champion like this can be to a bunch of accounts. So we have a continuous heal for 1 turn on all allies under poison debuffs, which is really important because he has poison on all allies in his kit. On his A2, a cleanse except poison from an ally. This is on a 2-turn cooldown and then heals them by 30% of their max HP, and a shield on the target based on 20% of their max HP for 2 turns. And again, this is a 2-turn ability, so a very, very powerful cleanse and shield and heal as well on 1 ally. And then on the Cloud of Spores, his A3 ability, we get 3 weak versions of poison on all allies. These cannot be resisted or blocked, and then also has a 100% chance of placing block buffs debuff on all enemies for 2 turns. Now, block buff is incredible, obviously, especially for Hydra clan boss, but it's just an overall an amazing debuff in the game anyway. And then we have the passive, where all allies under poison debuffs inflict 7.5% more damage for each poison debuff on them, stacking to a maximum of 30%. This damage increase applies to all of their skills, also increases their resistance by 15 for each poison debuff on them as well. So you guys can see that this dude can really, especially when you pair him with somebody like Husk, somebody like Royal Guard, enemy max HP champions, I mean, he's exponentially improving your overall damage of all of these champions on all of their skills throughout the duration of these longer battles as well. So Gurgoh Mossbeard is a fantastic champion now. Extra damage, we get the block buffs, we get that great cleanse, we get continuous heal, great champion, Gurgoh Mossbeard. He's grown on me a lot. I use him now on some of my main teams. Now, I have this champion, I just haven't summoned her yet because I'm waiting for the clan vs. clan tomorrow. And this is probably going to be the most controversial champion that I talk about in the video because people hate Guurda Bogbrew, the daily login reward champion. People hate her. And I'm here to tell you that she is a top 5 champion.
I am just so damn gorgeous.
Nah, I'm kidding. She's not a top 5 champion out there. Her kit is wonky. It's a little weird. However, she's not this bad, okay? Let's talk about why. And hear me out, right? If right now you're rolling your eyes and like, dude, you're gonna tell me that Guurda Bogbrew, first you're gonna tell me she is a Miss America over here, Miss Universe over here.
I'm a star.
You're a pizza.
I'm a pizza.
And then you're gonna tell me that she's a good champion. I don't know which is more unbelievable. No offense to Guurda, you know? I'm gonna get myself in trouble. Let's just stop here. We have a debuff spread, taking 1 random debuff from the target, placing on all enemies under weaken debuffs. Decrease the target's turn meter by 10% if they're not under any debuffs. This is a 1 ability. Not too bad to have the debuff spread, provided they're under weaken, which she has on her A2. So it's an AoE strong version of weaken. After that, if she doesn't place weaken, she's placing poisons. This line is the wonky part I was talking about. So like, I almost just ignore this, like whatever. If I can get a little bit of poison there off of resist or whatever, I guess okay. The poisons can't be blocked or resisted, so if the weaken is, it will land the poison. So I guess it's kind of a nice add-on, but overall not an OP ability. But her A3 is solid, really solid, right? On a 3-turn cooldown, we have a 100% chance of removing a random buff from all enemies. And then we have a 100% chance of placing 2 poison debuffs on all enemies for 2 turns, again on a 3-turn cooldown. And then we're also removing 2 random debuffs from all allies. this is a really good 3-turn cooldown ability, right? A really good support ability. We are removing a random buff from enemies, removing 2 random debuffs from all allies, and then placing 2 poisons on all enemies as well. I mean, this is not a bad champion. Certainly not that bad. And the cool thing is, whenever an enemy receives a debuff, their turn meter is decreased by 3%. That's her passive, guys. So she has this built-in kind of control mechanism, especially for longer battles, where she's constantly reducing turn meter, you know, provided they're susceptible to turn meter reduction on the enemies as well. So I think that Guurda Bogbrew, sure, she's not like the most OP champion out there, far from it. But to say that she's this trashy as some people are talking about, I just disagree with that. I mean, that's not a bad kit. Definitely a lot of players could benefit from this champion. So let me know how wrong I am. I know, again, that you guys are gonna, a lot of you guys just hate Guurda. I know that, but you guys go ahead and let me know if you disagree or if you're on my side there. You know, she's not that bad.
Without a doubt.
Next is going to be probably a little bit less of a controversial one. This is going to be Cleopterix. So Cleopterix, I mean, dude, she's one of the best spirit affinity nuker in the game. Dare I say that right now? I mean, who is she contending with? Marquess, Yannicka for legendaries, Marquess for rares, and Magnar for epics, right? Yeah, Cleo is the best in my opinion. Some people might say Yannicka, and I guess it doesn't even matter who's the best, right? It's all about Cleo right now, and she went from one of the most underwhelming nukers out there to just an incredible heavy hitter, guys. I put out a guide on her. Check it out. All you need to know is, I mean, she places increased accuracy on the chamber for 2 turns, then attacks all enemies, 100% chance of placing a hex debuff for 3 turns on a 4-turn cooldown, 100% chance of placing a fear debuff for 1 turn instead if the enemies are already under those hex debuffs. Sky Punishment just nukes. It just nukes, right? You can wipe out anybody. Again, if you want to see those numbers, see this champion in action now, go ahead and check out that guide that I did on her. Another AoE on Feather Barrage, her A2 ability with increased crit rate and increased crit damage on herself as well. Very, very good champion. Now, if you're just looking for a sheer damage nuker, Cleopterix is a fantastic option out there. All right, next up is going to be a Skinwalker, and it's none other than Norog, the big pig, man. Dude, this guy is really, really good. Way better than I thought he was. He has a simple kit, and some people can be thrown off by that, I guess. His base HP and base defense for a tank aren't that crazy high, really. You know, we're looking at 17 and 1300 respectively, and nothing to really write home about, but we do have block active skills on his A1 at a 60% chance at landing if you do have snipers, so not too bad, 55 without when booked. And then on Ice Pillar, his A2 ability, a 3-turn cooldown, attacks all enemies, damage based on defense, places block buffs for 2 turns. I already told you guys how much I love the block buffs ability, but really it's all about this thick skin passive. This is the power of Norog, and this is something that we talked about here on the channel recently, but it bears mentioning again, and that is any champion in the game. We're talking Geomancer, we're talking Brogni, we're talking Duchess, we're talking Norog here, who has damage mitigation on their passive, has such tremendous inherent value to your team, right? You put a couple of these champions together on your team, and you are just mitigating so much overall damage. This dude is like having a built-in weaken buff all the time on all allies. I mean, think about that. Think about how valuable that is. Immune to stun, freeze, sleep debuffs. That's awesome. Decreases the damage taken by all allies that are under 1 or more buffs by 15%. Decreases damage taken by all allies who are under no active buffs by 25%. That is incredible there in terms of damage mitigation. Also has defense and dungeons by 40%. I want to say that's the best dungeon defense aura inside the game. So Norog is just a fantastic tank. Great tank also for Hydra clan boss, or a great champion for Hydra clan boss because of the mitigation there and the block buffs in his kit. All right, next up, you know what? Let's keep it with the controversial ones here. Keep it with the ones that I know you guys hate.
Definitely enjoying it.
And that is Grohak the Bloodied. Now, Grohak has had several buffs. One a little bit more recently, which I thought put him in the sweet spot of an actually interesting champion now for the first time ever, right? He has a 2-time hitter on his A1 with a 50% chance when booked of placing decreased speed on each hit. So a very dependable big version of decreased speed on his A1. On his A2, this is a 3-turn cooldown, attacks all enemies. Each critical hit fills his champion's turn meter by 20%. So right now we're like, okay, I mean, that's not that exciting. What is it? Doesn't like Khazar Deepar, doesn't Kale have an ability like that? I mean, okay, that's kind of like, all right. It does hit pretty hard, which is nice. On the A3 though, Lord of War, they took this from a 6 to a 5-turn cooldown, 4-turn when it's booked up, right? Attacks one enemy, steals their entire turn meter, and then places the big version of Weaken for 2 turns if the attack is critical, and this really hits hard. So now we have a 100% turn meter steal here. So, you know, hopefully filling his turn meter up as much as possible. We have the big version of Weaken now added to this ability as well. And then we have more turn meter fill here on the A2, and then again, decreased speed. So there's actually kind of a lot of built-in control with the turn meter on the Lord of War. You get the damage, and then he kind of just has an overall pretty good effect on the tempo of your match. Again, is Grohak my favorite legendary champion out there? Certainly not. But is he bad as he used to be? No, he's like not that bad of a champion anymore. He's definitely a champion worth building for progression at the very least inside this game. Now we're going to talk about my personal favorite, and you guys, you longtime viewers, you probably already know this, but dude, Nogdar the Headhunter, this guy is...
Wow, this is garbage.
A boss, man. He's so much fun. You put him in frenzy gear, so every HP he loses, you're gaining like a 5% turn meter or something like that. Let me see. What the heck is frenzy? I'm gonna show you my Nogdar the Headhunter. It's obviously not every HP you lose, but either way, it's a really, really cool synergistic set for this champion that I just have to show you guys because it's so much fun. No one should be super disappointed when they pull a Nogdar the Headhunter. Frenzy, 10% turn meter for every 5% HP lost. So Frenzy makes perfect sense with his kit. Check it out, guys. On the A2, after attacking, he sacrifices HP equal to 50% of his max HP. He's throwing continuous heals back on himself, but that sacrifice is boosting his turn meter all the way up to, you know, maybe max again, right? And then on the A3, it's the same thing. He sacrificed another 50% HP and then equalizes HP levels with a target enemy, but that sacrifice is going to trigger, again, the Frenzy gear. And this dude hits really hard. Now, you might be saying, well, he's sacrificing so much HP, he's just going to be dead all the time, but who cares? Because he automatically revives 50% HP and 50% turn meter when he's killed, as long as everybody else is still alive. So you basically you can see what I'm talking about here with the Frenzy, right? He's doing damage full turn meter, damage full turn meter. On his A1, if he kills somebody, he gets an extra turn. Again, kill somebody with his hard-hitting A1. He is a really, really cool damage dealer to have, provided that you do have him in a Frenzy set. That's really crucial to this champion. However, I think he's just a really fun and different and dynamic champion who I'm a big fan of. All right, next up we have Crypt-King Graal.
Crypt-King Graal.
Just forget about it.
Dude, this dude is way more than just a 4.3 in Spider and about a bunch of 2s and 3s elsewhere. Look at this kit, man. Attacks one enemy on his A1. I wish I had this dude. I don't. Attacks one enemy. We get a 60% chance of placing the big version of decreased attack for 2 turns. It's a really nice, solid, high percentage rate for an A1. 100% if they're under HP burn or a freeze. Great A1. On the A2 ability, an AoE HP burn for 2 turns on a 3-turn cooldown. Fantastic. And then on the A3, another AoE. We get a freeze on a target for 1 turn if they're under HP burn already. This is on a 4-turn cooldown. But check this out. It extends the duration of any HP burns on the target to 3 turns. And that cannot be resisted. You can have some fun with this ability. You can use champions like Sissia or like Ninja and, you know, trigger some of those HP burns and then extend them to 3 turns again using his A3 ability. I really like this champion. He's very fast, very cool champ. Again, I really wish I had him. All right, next up is going to be a champion that a lot of you guys probably have, and it's Vizix the Unbowed. So Vizix, man, come on, dude. Vizix is not bad. She's really good now, dare I say. She got a major buff as well, a big kind of like rework on this champion. 2-time hitter. Each hit, 100% chance win boot of decreasing the target's turn meter by 15%, fills his champion's turn meter equal to the amount the target loses. That's great turn meter steal on the A1. On the A2, we have an AoE, decrease speed, and ally protect on a 3-turn cooldown. She's a lot of defense, pretty easy to keep alive, so fantastic, fantastic. On the A3, right? We get an AoE, provoke 100% guarantee on another 3-turn cooldown, plays a shield buff on this champion equal to 20% or their max HP for 2 turns as well to help her keep alive, stay alive, whatever. Help her live, right? So, very, very good champion now. I mean, she has a guaranteed provoke. She's void affinity, don't have to worry about bad affinity matchups. She got the decreased speed. She got the ally protect. She's got the turn meter steal on the A1. I mean, what else do you want now from a champion? She's a fantastic, fantastic free champion inside the game, albeit the last one, or one of the last ones that we get, I guess, for daily login rewards. They keep adding the Gurdas and the Cleopterixes to the world as well. Vizix is definitely worth building now. I would recommend maybe lifesteal gear or stalwart gear or something, just to a regeneration, just to kind of keep her alive, because she does take a lot of damage with the ally protect big version and the provoke. She's getting hit a lot, right? But she is the ultimate tank in a lot of ways. All right, this next dude is a guy that people just don't like, Wormund, man, but he's one of the best kind of damage mitigators and tanks inside the game, especially for Doom Tower. And it starts with his aura. Increase allied defense in Doom Tower battles by 40%. 40% aura in Doom Tower battles, that's pretty massive, man. And then he's got strengthened big version and increased defense big version on a 3-turn cooldown. How many champions have the big version of increased defense, and strengthened on the same 3-turn cooldown? One. You're looking at him, Wormund Frost King. He also brings increased crit damage to the table on a 3-turn cooldown. He also brings decreased crit damage and decreased accuracy that cannot be resisted on an AoE attack on his A2. On his A1, he has a freeze and a perfect veil on the ally with the lowest HP for 2 turns if the freeze is placed, a veil if the freeze is not placed. So now, man, Wormund is a really, really solid option. I like that he's protecting the ally with the lowest HP on his A1 with the veil, 7.5% damage mitigation from AoE attacks on all champions under veil, 15% if they're under a perfect veil, helps them stay alive and not be targeted, obviously, as well. He's bringing a lot to the table now. I love that they can't be resisted, the decreased crit damage and decreased accuracy as well. Definitely a useful champion, good against Bommel for an unresistible decrease accuracy as well. That's where I use him. All right, let's keep it going here, guys, with the last champion is actually going to be none other than Noble.
Dirty babe, you see these shackles, baby, on this.
I don't mind dad jokes.
I'm joking. Noble's trash. It is Yoshi the Drunkard. So Yoshi, man, no love for Yoshi the Drunkard, the first legendary to be added to the Shadowkin faction, guys. And Yoshi, I mean, he just took me down on Platinum Arena 2 days ago on Sunday. He has a stun on his A1. On his A2, it's a 2-turn cooldown here, right? 100% decreased accuracy and HP burn. This is a great skill for bosses, right? Decreased accuracy and HP burn on a 2-turn cooldown for 2 turns. Just keep them up all the time. Just keep them up all the time. And then on the A3, Battle Toast is a great ability for the arena. Think about it. As an opening arena move, we get increased attack. We get increased accuracy on all allies, right? Fantastic buffs. And then we have True Fear, 50%, make it 75% chance of placing a True Fear on all enemies for 1 turn. That's a guaranteed 100% land on True Fear, along with increased attack and increased accuracy if they're under increased attack as well. AKA, if you're going against, say, an Arbiter team inside the arena, you can True Fear lock out their ability, 50-50 shot at locking out their ability with the True Fear CC, increased accuracy, increased attack. It's a really, really solid ability here in Battle Toast. And then I love that he has kind of that cut in line potential as well. Fills the champion's turn meter by 4% each time an enemy receives a buff. So think about it here, guys. Sify goes and she's applying, 3, 6, 9, 12 buffs to herself. We're getting almost a 50% turn meter fill just automatically from that to start things out, right, in the arena. So think about the potential that he has to just jump and cut in line and go first and CC the enemy team. This passive is definitely overlooked in terms of how effective it can be inside the arena, guys. And then we have speed in all battles by 19%, a fantastic aura as well. So there you have it, guys. Those are my 10 most underrated, criminally underrated, I'll probably title the video, legendaries inside the game. We have Gurgtuk, Guurda, Cleo, Norog, Grohak, Nogdar, Crypt-King, Vizix, Wormund, and Yoshi. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Who did I forget? Let me know. And who do you disagree with the most? Let me know in the comments below. Let me have it, guys. Thank you for watching, and as always, take care, guys.